And Corn Pop was a bad dude. And he ran a bunch of bad boys. And I did. And back in those days, to show how things had changed, one of the things you had to use, if you used pomade in your hair, you had to wear a bathing cap. And so he was up on the board, wouldn't listen to me. I said, "Hey, Esther, you, off the board, or I'll come up and drag you off." Well, he came off, and he said, "I'll meet you outside." My car, these were all public housing behind it. My car, there was a gate out here. I parked my car outside the gate. And he said, "I'll be waiting for you." He was waiting for 3 guys in straight razors. Not a joke. There was a guy named Bill Wright, Mouse, the only white guy, and he did all the pools. He was the mechanic. And I said, "What am I going to do?" He said, "Come down here in the basement where mechanics, where all the pool filter is. You know the chain, there used to be a chain that went across the deep end. And he cut off a 6-foot length of chain. He folded up, he said, "You walk out with that chain. And you walk to the car and say, 'You may cut me, man, but I'm going to wrap this chain around your head.'" I said, "You're kidding me." He said, "No, if you don't come back." And he was right. So I walked out with the chain. And I walked up to my car. And they had, those days, you used to remember the straight razor. You'd bang them on the curb, get them rusty, put them in a rain barrel, get them rusty. And I looked at him, but I was smart then. I said, first of all, I said, when I tell you to get off the board, you get off the board, and I'll kick you out again, but I shouldn't have called you Esther Williams. I apologize for that. I apologize, but I didn't know that apology was going to work. He said, "You apologize to me?" I said, "I apologize for that, not for throwing you out, but I apologize for what I said." He said, "Okay," closed the straight razor, and my heart began to beat again.
Get your words straight, Jack.
Not good. Believe me, not good.
And then they have cans of soup. And they throw the cans of soup. That's better than a brick because you can't throw a brick, it's too heavy. But a can of soup, you can really put some power into that, right? And then when they get caught, they say, "No, this is soup for my family." They're so innocent. "This is soup for my family." It's incredible. And you have people coming over with bags of soup, big bags of soup, and they lay it on the ground, and the anarchists take it and they start throwing it at our cops, at our police. And if it hits you, that's worse than a brick because it's got force. It's the perfect size. It's like made perfect. And when they get caught, they say, "No, this is just soup for my family." And then the media says, "This is just soup." These people are very, very innocent. They're innocent people.
And I have a simple proposition here. I'm here to ask you for your help. Where I come from, you don't get far unless you ask. My name's Joe Biden. I'm a Democratic candidate for the United States Senate. Look me over if you'd like to see, help out. If not, vote for the other by.
Well, it was an amazing phone call I made. 40 Wall Street actually was the second tallest building in downtown Manhattan. And it was actually, before the World Trade Center, was the tallest. And then when they built the World Trade Center, it became known as the second tallest, and now it's the tallest. And I just spoke to my people.
There's an old saying in Tennessee, I know it's in Texas, probably in Tennessee, that says, "Fool me once, shame on you." If fool me, we can't get fooled again.
Running against the worst candidate in the history of presidential politics puts pressure on me. Can you imagine if I lose my whole life? What am I going to do? I'm going to say, I lost to the worst candidate in the history of politics. I'm not going to feel so good. Maybe I'll have to leave the country. I don't know.
We hold these truths to be self-evident. All men and women created by go. You know the thing. It's not that they don't want to help. They don't know quite what to do. Play the radio. Make sure the television. Make sure you have the record player on at night. The phone. Make sure the kids hear words.
8 months after his alleged meeting with the Burmese executives. So this Burmese, they say, pronounce it Burmese. A real beautiful company.
I liked beer. I still like beer. But I did not drink beer to the point of blacking out.
Did you use the word smart? So you said you went to Delaware State, but you forgot the name of your college. You didn't go to Delaware State. You graduated either the lowest or almost the lowest in your class. Don't ever use the word smart with me. Don't ever use that word.
Oh, give me a break.
Because you know what? There's nothing smart about you, Joe.
Examine the terrain. Watch a campaign with the man Tim Kaine. Tim Kaine in the membrane. Tim Kaine in the brain.
Hello, users, and welcome to another videographic experience, also known as Above It Motherfucking All, folks. That's right, we're here. I got a show lined up for you. And we're going to be doing a pretty good job. So just give me a little bit. Drinking my Covfefe still. We got Max the dog in the background. Maxie, come up here. Max! Look at this goddamn dog. Folks, I have breaking news. Like, I took photos of Max the dog yesterday. And I just got to share them with you in case you didn't see him. So let me go find him. Oh my god. I'm looking at this dog again. Look at this dog. Look at this goddamn dog. Are you seeing this shit? Are you seeing this shit? Look at this goddamn dog. Look at this. This is him guarding. And I caught him mid-blink. Mid-blink. I caught him mid-blink. He was blinking. I pressed the take picture button and then he blunk. Look at this goddamn angel. Like, seriously, I'm about to pass the fuck out. This dog is so amazing. God damn. So that's the first breaking news little tidbit there. His 22-hour-old photographs. God damn, I love that dog. Yo, I gotta take my medication. Friday. Is today Friday? Motherfucking Friday. Amazing. Alright. Much fussy, such brown. Max is a beautiful brown dog. I just gotta show these photos again. Look at this goddamn dog. Like, seriously? Like, every damn day of my life I see this motherfucker. Are you, like, is it a joke? I have a box on the floor. It's taking up Max's space. like every damn day. This is my life every day. Like, I just don't even know where to begin. Lord have motherfucking mercy. All right. Oh, this is like really bad. This is, I bookmarked this yesterday or whatever, and I'm now reading it for the first time. Let's talk about Andrew Yang. So Andrew Yang got owned, and he had a clip get taken and went a little bit around on Twitter.com. Now, I'm going to be honest, I didn't watch any of these debates. I don't live there. I don't care. But Andrew Yang ran for president, right? Now, the year is 2021, right? We can talk about the most annoying motherfuckers out of all the 2020 presidential candidates. We can talk about the most annoying motherfuckers, and that's the Yang Gang. We're talking about, like, at least the Tulsi people know that they're pieces of garbage. Like, at least, like, they are very, like, you know, they hate Democrats, they hate gay people, they hate trans people. They're all pretty confident in that. But the Yang people, the thing that I hated about them, and that I still hate about them, is that they've got this, like, fake confidence in all of their ideas that, like, is just, it should not exist. These are, like, the most confident-ass motherfucking supporters who will list out, like, fucking, like, copy and paste a bunch of bullshit from the campaign website. None of it makes any sense, but they read it and they think that they solve the fucking universe, right? And that's what I hated about these motherfuckers, right? At least the Elizabeth Warren people, they're liberals. We know they're garbage, right? You know, the fucking Pete Buttigieg people, they're liberals. We know they're garbage. The Biden people, don't get me started. But the Yang people always tried to do, oh yeah, Andrew Yang's to the left of Bernie Sanders. He's so far left that, you know, he discriminates against mentally ill people. This is something that he hasn't started just doing now in his New York mayoral race. He's been doing this shit for a while. During the presidential campaign, he at some point said that mentally ill people would not qualify for the freedom dividend. What? What? Also, what does mentally ill mean in that subject? Like, does someone having an anxiety disorder make them mentally ill? What does that mean? Having, like, a binary of mentally ill versus whatever, what's the opposite of that, question mark? Right? That's not how the world works, right? It's not, I am perfectly healthy, I am mentally ill. And, like, there's no, like, what? Like, it doesn't make any sense, right? Like, someone can fucking lose a loved one and have fucking, like, you know, depression that lasts for, like, 3, 4, 5, 10 years even. Does that make them mentally ill? Does that mean that they should be having 2 strike laws placed against them if they, like, cry on the subway or something? I don't know. But anyway, this clip goes viral. And Yang's response is, like, the only reason I'm talking about this, really, is because Yang's response is horrible. So let's watch.
Yes, mentally ill people have rights, but you know who else have rights?
Yo. Can we talk about the delivery here? The delivery. Yes, mentally ill people have rights, but you know who also has rights? Me.
Yes, mentally ill people have rights, but you know who else have rights? We do. The people and families of the city. We have the right to walk the street and not fear for our safety because a mentally ill person is going to lash out at us. Yes.
I'm gonna raise the volume a little bit, and I want you to, like, really listen to what this guy is saying here. This is this is not only, like, I mean, Andrew Yang's been promoting neo-Nazi propaganda for, like, 3 years now, but this is, like, just...
Mentally ill people have rights, but you know who else have rights? We do. The people and families of the city. We have the right to walk the street and not fear for our safety because a mentally ill person is going to lash out at us.
Like, I don't... What? That, like, seriously. Mentally ill people have rights, but so do we. What? That's like saying, yeah, you know, black people shouldn't be murdered by police, but, you know, what about, you know, all lives? You know what I mean? Like, you know, it's like, what? You know, it's like, this is like, it's so ridiculous, man. Like, this shit is ridiculous. This guy is a fucking freak. He's a freak. If you are caping for Andrew Yang, in June 2021, I've got news for you. You're a fucking moron, right? And so again, and the other part of this is like, what? Like, mentally ill people are gonna lash out at you on the street? Like, 9 times out of 10, right, if someone is going through a hard time, they're not gonna lash out at people on the street. They're maybe gonna, like, call their fucking ex-girlfriend or something and cry on the phone and leave a really embarrassing voicemail or something. Like, and I'm just saying, like, people that are going through problems do not lash out, like, walking down the subway and then they go like, "Wah! Like, no one does that. Like, seriously. Like, and if someone does that, right, like, why the, like, I have no idea what the fuck this guy's talking about. Seriously, it's ridiculous, right? But, and then he follows this up. So he sees the clip is trending because SE Cup tweets about it. And so this is his follow-up. This is, like, it's really bad. Like, it's super fucking horrible. And agree, right? Okay, so SE Cup says, oof, there's surely a better way to present the idea of keeping New Yorkers safe from violent criminals who also suffer from mental illness and advocate for their treatment without stigmatizing all mental illness sufferers as not us, right? And so Andrew Yang says, agree. Have been an advocate for mental health and will continue. First of all, that's not true. Like, a couple weeks ago or a month ago, this guy was promoting 2-strike laws, right? If you have a mental illness, you deserve not 3 strikes, but 2 strikes because you're mentally ill and you can't be trusted or some shit, right? And again, this doesn't go back, that's just his mayoral race. If you go back into his presidential race, Lord have motherfucking mercy, that mother guy. This guy was going on Ben Shapiro's show saying that fucking disabled people shouldn't have fucking the freedom dividend. People with mental illnesses shouldn't have the freedom dividend, right? That kind of stuff. They should be forced into, like, you know, treatment against their will. It's like, this guy is fucking crazy. This guy promotes Nazi, not even neo-Nazi, like, this guy's old school Nazi propaganda, right? This is ridiculous. Went to counseling as a young person. Also, what are these sentences? Like, what are these sentences? Like, this reads like a fucking second grader writing a fucking, like, you know, trying to write a fucking Harry Potter spin-off fan fiction, right? Like, okay, agree. Have been an advocate for mental health and will continue. Went to counseling as a young person. Full context here was mental illness is behind half of anti-Asian hate crimes. We need to get them compassionate, comprehensive care and not let them languish on our streets. What? You know, this is another thing I've noticed, is every time Andrew Yang is criticized, he always goes into the stop Asian hate thing. And this is ridiculous, because I've made a couple videos that are very critical of Andrew Yang over the course of his mayoral race, and even some of the videos that I made during the presidential primary, right? I get, like, bots from, like, fucking Yang subreddit saying, hashtag stop Asian hate. Why are you contributing to violence on my fucking random Andrew Yang videos? Again, even from, like, fucking, like, 2019, right? Like, it's bizarre. They're just, like, name searching Andrew Yang, and if you criticize him, it's, oh, why do you hate? Why do you hate? Oh, why? Andrew Yang said that gay people don't have the same rights as straight people, but you pointing that out is hate. Oh. Andrew Yang said disabled people should have to go through forced sterilization, but he's Asian. Why do you hate? Right? So I'm like, this guy's a freak. Like, every single thing that he gets criticized on, he spins into stop Asian hate. And again, that's the problem is, yeah, there is a huge fucking problem with anti-Asian hate crimes. When you have this motherfucker going up there pretending like getting criticized on Twitter is a hate crime, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And trying to say, like, oh no, it's, you know, all mentally ill people deserve 2-strike laws, should have, like, forced sterilization, get fucking forced mandatory, like, you know, in like, fucking, you know, what's that bullshit that they throw you in, like, the fucking involuntary ass shit? Like, you know, that's what he was advocating for. And if you criticize any of that, it's like, oh, bro, what about those hate crimes against Asian people? And it's like, what the fuck does that have to do? This shit pisses me off. Anyway, Andrew Yang sucks. More news at 11. Yeah, every time that I'm feeling a little anxious over, like, you know, what to eat in the morning, what I decide to do is I run downtown in my city like this, and I go, Wah! Right? Like, that's what I do every single time, right? Like, it's just like, what the fuck is this guy talking about? Max, do you know what he's talking about? I don't think Max knows. Max has no fucking idea. You're a dog. You don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. He doesn't even know. Max doesn't even know. I wish I could be Max right now. Wouldn't that be awesome? Like, imagine just not knowing. You don't know, Max. When are you gonna find out? Look at this motherfucker. He thinks I'm gonna pet him. And he's right. And he's right. Hello? Oh my god. I hope S.E. Cup's first name is Sip. Sip E. Cup. Bottom. Woofing your way through life. I often woof my way through life. Whew. Max knows more than Yang, probably. Why do you hate? I'm just so sick of that shit, man. And by that, I mean I'm about to start saying every time someone disagrees with me, it's transphobic. That's going to be my next move. You disagree with my opinion on Mega Man X games? Transphobic. Duh. Hello? Is that even under, like, you know, duh. That's what I'm about to start doing. Like, so, I mean, it's a good grift. It's a pretty good grift. Alright, all right. I want to get into other bad candidates. So this happened. I'll let you read what's on the screen while I take a sip. Max, do you mind? You see that dog? I just looked at him. I'm like, Max, come on. And he's like, whoops. Okay, so for those of you that don't know, the Ohio special election is the one that Nina Turner is running in, right? So Hillary Clinton did a classic move, very classic, very vintage move, of holding grudges and embarrassing herself. And so she endorsed Shontel Brown for Congress. Secretary Hillary Clinton has been an inspiration to me for decades. I'm not even going to bother reading that. I'm proud to endorse Shontel Brown for Congress in the Ohio special election. Shontel made history as the first black woman to chair her county Dem Party, and she'll work to help her state and country recover from COVID. Yeah, okay, so I have a problem with this bitch, and it stems from this video that, like, came out on the same day that Hillary Clinton posted this endorsement. Like what good timing, right? Like, that's incredible timing. But anyway, this is Shontel Brown misgendering a trans woman who's apparently dead, that she had apparently known since childhood, and continued to misgender and promote other transphobic conspiracy theories, all in a 2-minute clip. Let's watch.
Just the last part of it, Crystal.
No problem. 1 second, please.
You know what? I really, you don't have to. This is something that I struggle with personally, because I lost someone near and dear to me who experienced the abuse, living his life.
Right. So I want to, like, before we get into this, and trigger warning for all of y'all, like, this is not, well, I didn't think before I spoke kind of situation. This motherfucker is saying, like, bitch, you got time to think about what you're about to say. So I just want to put that out there.
Living his life as a transgender woman.
I just, like, ending the sentence there. Living his life as a transgender. Like, are you a fucking freak? Like, do you need fucking medical attention? Like, Jesus Christ, bitch. How the fuck? And apparently this is someone that she had known. And she's just gonna misgender her over and over and over again like a fucking circus show. This is just, it's ridiculous. And this is the bitch that Hillary Clinton endorsed, by the way. Reminder, I'm just throwing this out there. I'm throwing this out there.
Living his life as a transgender woman, and was often abused, uncomfortable to really share the truth about his identity. So it is an education issue, and it has really helped center and guide.
It's an education issue? What? It's an education issue. Like, how are you gonna say, like, I'm sorry, when you misgender one time, horrible, disgusting, think before you speak, bitch. When you do it over and over and over and over, and then it's an education issue, yeah, that's right, bitch. You're the one who has an issue with being educated. And again, we're talking about someone who is dead, right? One of the worst things you could possibly do is misgender a trans person while they are dead, why they can't defend themselves, right? It's just ridiculous. It's disgusting. And and it's even worse because she had apparently known this person as well. That's what's even worse about this. Oh, that we're such childhood friends that I'm going to attack them as they're already dead, and I'm going to make their memory just like, I'm just going to tarnish their memory with just disgust and abhorrent statements on a fucking national political stage. It's grotesque. It's grotesque behavior, and I feel sorry for her, to be honest. Not to be honest, not this bitch, but the other person.
Around the community, because I know that what he struggled with, and I identify with him because I've known him knew him as a child. But my promise to him was to fight to make sure that the community would get the equal.
What are you fighting? What are you fighting? Who are you fighting? That's my question. Who the fuck are you fighting? What? You're fighting for equal protection. Wow, good job. You're fighting really well. And again, that's the horrifying part, is that instead of just admitting that she made a mistake, she leans into it. Right? You can't say, whoops, after the first misgender, or the second, or the third, or the fourth, or maybe the fifth, or sixth, or seventh, or eighth. You can't even just say whoops and say, I meant to say she. Instead, she is pretending like nothing went wrong, everything's great, and she's just rolling through another one, and it's just disgusting. And again, using the death of a friend, I find it hard to believe that they were friends, but using the death of a friend in this fashion, you're trying to get like these woke political points from knowing a transgender, and you're not even doing it properly. Like, again, this is peak Democrat. This is peak Democrat. Republicans just want to kill us. They don't give a shit. They just want us to fucking die. If they could get guns and shoot us in the back of the head, they would fucking, boom, easy mode, right? Democrats, they don't want to kill us per se, right? So they want to use us as like a fucking political scapegoat and a tool and a fucking thing that they can use to get woke points on their fucking little bullshit, like, disgusting campaign. Oh, I got the transgender vote. No, you don't, bitch. Seriously, it's just... And again, Hillary Clinton endorsed this fucking scumbag.
Rights, treatment that they deserve. We should not discriminate people based on their personal lifestyle or the way that God made them. And
also, lifestyle. I'm done with this lifestyle bullshit. It's just a lifestyle choice. Like, bitch, motherfucker, wearing fucking sweater vests, that's a lifestyle. Being gay, being trans is not a motherfucking lifestyle, okay? Like, wearing fucking, like, light sneakers, like, the little sneakers that light up when you walk, that's a motherfucking lifestyle. Smoking weed is a lifestyle. Being gay is not a lifestyle. It's just who you fucking are, you stupid fucking loser, dude. And again, like, this is just, oh my fucking God.
Based on their personal lifestyle or the way that God made them. And so for me, it is a very personal matter.
So personal.
To
so personal.
Really put laws in place to deal with these discriminatory acts that are stealing people's lives, physically, mentally, and emotionally.
And you are contributing to it. And that's the worst part about this, is she's trying to get, oh, the transgenders are so abused, I say, while misgendering my friend who died. Oh, they're so abused. He. Like, it's just like, what the fuck is wrong with you? This kind of, like, this should be disqualified. Like, if we lived in, like, a world where the fucking, like, you know, the woke left had any fucking control whatsoever, right, which is me. I am the woke left. No one else. Just me. Right? If I had any control whatsoever, boom, I'd throw you in fucking jail. I'm going full tanky mode on this bitch, because I'm pissed the fuck off. Right? Because I had no idea who this was until Hillary Clinton posts. And I'm like, oh, who's this? And then I see this. Immediately, I look this up, right? And then this is the first thing I see. And it's like, what?
So this is something that we owe it to each other to treat one another simply as what we are, which is human beings at our core. And so...
What? And also, I just want to say, if I were in this debate, and I'm like, you know, I get it, you're not supposed to interrupt people. If I were in this debate, like, let's say I'm in Nina Turner's shoes or someone else, I'm one of these, like, no profile picture people, and I hear this bitch on, like, the third misgender, right? I'm not going to get to the 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 12th, 39th. I'm not going to get that far. I'm going to fucking yell at her. I don't care if you remove me. I don't care if I get kicked out of the debate. I just want to be honest with you. I want to be honest. This is Republican garbage. This is disgusting, like, Nazi propaganda. Oh, the transgenders just need help. They just need help. Why don't we help them? The transgenders just need help. Go fuck yourself in the face with a big fucking face fucker, you fuck face.
That is the struggle that I have right now, is that my friend...
This is the fucking Equality Forum. I just realized that. This isn't the Equality Forum. The Equality Forum. They let this go on? Anyone who hosts the Equality Forum, sorry, fuck you. I'm serious. 1, inviting her in the first place. 2, not cutting her off instantly. Fuck all of them. Right? I don't know who's in charge of this Equality Forum. Right? Every single one of them, fuck them straight to hell. This is probably just a Democrat woke point fucking, you know, farm machine. It's ridiculous.
My friend was a human being and lost his life because somebody did not appreciate his differences and diversity. And that's really what this boils down to. This is a human rights issue. Those are hate crimes, and they need to be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law, but it's up to lawmakers to put those laws in place to make it a reality. Thank you.
Disgusting. I mean, seriously? Like, again, my patience for this kind of bullshit is very thin. Very thin. Like, fuck her in the face. I don't like her. If you like her in any capacity, I'm just going to assume you're garbage. I mean, again, seriously, Nina Turner's the obvious choice in this race anyway. Anyone running against Nina Turner's a fucking moron, right? That said, if you're gonna vote for someone that treats trans people like this because you don't like Nina Turner, I've got news for you. You're garbage. You're a Republican. Delete your account, bitch. No one likes you. You're fucking a deplorable little scumbag, fuckface loser, and you need to go fucking home. You need to cry and sulk in your little fucking bedroom like the loser that you are. Seriously, I'm sick of this shit. Here's the thing that I'm seeing right here. The trend is Republicans are enacting laws. The idea is to assassinate and murder and commit genocide on trans people, especially people under the age of 21, right? That's the Republicans' goal. Genocide. Complete, like, irrecoverable genocide. That's what they're advocating for. That's what these bills in Arkansas, Alabama, Kansas, you know, and even North Carolina where I live, they're all with the goal and the aim and the desire to commit genocide. The Democrats are like, maybe we won't kill them, but we'll treat them like fucking science experiments, right? Oh yeah, I have the transgenders friend. You know, like, what the fuck is wrong with you, man? Seriously, right? And then that leaves me like, where do I go? The Democratic Party hates me. The Republican Party hates me. What does that leave me with? The 2016 presidential candidate for the Democratic ticket endorsed a blatant, disgusting transphobe. How do you think that makes me feel? Not great. I'm telling you that right now. Not great. Fuck Democrats, dude. I hate them. Throw them in the garbage can. I already know about Hillary's comments. I know. I'm aware. This bitch. I'm aware about this bitch. I stand with J.K. Rowling. God damn. Oh. Maxie Kratz. Where's that dog? On the floor. But seriously though, man, like that makes me mad. I'm mad. I'm very upset. Felix, hold the fucking phone, bro. The show is like fucking 30% over. No recap? Where's the recap? Like, first of all, you're the only person that watches the stream for the recap. The show's been on for 20 minutes. Where's the recap? No, like, bro, I'll get to it, man. Like, Max, what the fuck? I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to Felix Cornelius. Do you know who that is? Look at him. Our trans city council member just wrote an editorial in the Star Tribune about how George Floyd Square needs to be... Fuck that bitch. Throw them in the fucking garbage. That's fucking just disgusting. Seriously. You know what I can't stand? People that are minorities that cape for the fucking establishment, man. Like, serious fuckingly, right? Like, ooh, seriously, man. Like, if you're fucking trans and you're saying, well, you know... we really need to expand law enforcement. Like, what? What? Like, do you need help? Like, do you need medical attention? Like, seriously. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? You have, like, are you experiencing a fatal hemorrhage of the brain? Like, what the fuck? Look at this goddamn dog. I seriously can't fucking handle this goddamn dog. I'm gonna drink more coffee. Look at him. Are you seeing this shit? I love dogs. 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 Look at him. I love dogs. I love dogs. I love dogs. I love dogs. I love... Oh. Uh-oh. I love dogs. He's going crazy. Catherine, they're trying to clear George Floyd Square and, quote, reopen it. This is what they've been trying to do for, like, the recap is they tried to clear it. What they did was they went through this, like, non-profit that, like, looked okay, and then they just printed mainstream media. Oh, this one group endorses clearing the square and moving on, or whatever the fuck. Right, and keep in mind, that's the same day Winston Smith is assassinated. Right, that's the same fucking day that they do this mainstream media propaganda campaign to say, oh yeah, let's clear all the George Floyd stuff, let's move on. Boom, that same night, Winston Smith assassinated. So then people try to, like, you know, reconstitute George Floyd Square, and they've just been getting bulldozers destroying everything for the last, like, fucking 2 weeks, and it's just disgusting. Launch Blair White and Candace Owens into the deepest, darkest pit in Roblox. I love Roblox. Huge fan, huge fan. Yo, motherfuckers are sending me Discord messages. Chill the fuck out. There's no reason that I should have 12 Discord messages when I'm doing a goddamn live show. I'm just joking, obviously. Feel free to continue. Minneapolis wants to make more money off of George Floyd tourism. The problem is, in their minds, is they haven't gentrified it to open a new cafe and t-shirt. Yes, I can agree. That sounds perfect to me. As the ideal. Like that, and that's just disgusting. Can you imagine that? Like, can you imagine that? Imagine like a bunch of white people taking selfies where George Floyd was murdered or some shit. Like that's like the kind of vibe that I get. What's poppin', Bob? Yo, I'm about to get fucking mad as hell. You ready for this shit? Are you ready for this shit? Like, you thought, like, I know what you thought. Y'all motherfuckers, y'all legit thought that, you know, I was gonna get a little bit less mad. You ready for this? What's worse than treating mentally ill people as if they're, like, you know, automatically evil and want to inflict harm on you? What's worse than misgendering a dead trans woman 11,000 times in a row on an equality forum? You know what's worse than that? Child slavery. Yeah, that's right. The Supreme Court is upholding a decision, or, you know, they made a decision that basically says that chocolate companies, child slavery, it's all good, bro. We got you. You can use enslaved children, and what are you going to do about it? They're not American children. Who cares, right? The United States back on the slavery beat as if it ever left. All right, let's read. The Supreme Court on Thursday said U.S. chocolate companies cannot be sued for child slavery on the African farms from which they buy most of their cocoa. But the court stopped short of saying such a lawsuit could never go forward. The court's splintered decision was written by Justice Clarence Thomas. Justice Samuel Alito dissented from their decision, saying it was premature to dismiss the suit. 6 African men were seeking damages from Nestle USA and Cargill, alleging that as children they were trafficked out of Mali, forced to work long hours on Ivorian cocoa farms, and kept at night in locked shacks. Their attorneys argue the company should have better monitored their cocoa suppliers in West Africa, where about 2/3 of the world's cocoa is grown and child labor is widespread. This is not child labor, folks. This is child slavery. These motherfuckers were shackled. At issue was whether the Malians have the right to sue the companies in U.S. courts, and, more broadly, under what circumstances foreigners may sue U.S. firms for wrongs committed in their company's supply chain overseas. So this is the thing. This is the argument here. Right? Nestle could source their cocoa from ethical sources. They choose not to. Why? Because they're a capitalist company, and they can make an extra buck off of child slavery. That's why. So they could source their materials ethically. They choose not to. That's the problem, right? So they're using their leverage and their power as a U.S. major manufacturer in chocolate, right? They're leveraging that power to, you know, basically select, you know, again, think of it as the free market scenario, right? They're selecting the cheapest, you know, possible way to get cocoa. Just so happens it's child slavery. Again, as long as they're not American children, right? Right? And even then, if that were the case, I'm sure that they would get the same ruling because they're a fucking major company. That being said, that's the idea. Is they're just, you know, they're using their power to manipulate what would otherwise, you know, be, you know, a situation. Like, personally, in my opinion, all these chocolate companies should stop existing. In my opinion, like, I don't even like chocolate that much. I'm going to be honest with you. I would never purchase a product from these motherfuckers. Just throwing that out there. And again, this has been something that's been happening for thousands of years. Again, slavery never ended in the United States. Look at the prison populations, right? Like, slavery all around the world has never ended. People are constantly being trafficked into slave-like situations, right? The idea that we as a global species think we've moved on beyond slavery is ridiculous. It's obscene, and it's just abhorrently it's uneducated. Y'all are fucking stupid if you think that. I'm not talking about you in specific, but anyway. The plaintiff sued under the Alien Tort Statute, a 1789 law that allows federal district courts to hear any civil action by an alien for a tort only, committed in violation of the law of nations or a treaty of the United States. The law was largely dormant until the 1980s, when attorneys began using it to pursue international human rights cases. The Supreme Court in 2004 said some claims might be allowed under the law, but since then has narrowed the scope rather than expanding it. The court had previously rejected such lawsuits when the alleged misconduct occurred almost entirely abroad, and in the Malians case, the location of the alleged wrongs emerged as a critical point of dispute. In the view of the companies, such cases ought to be filed not against the corporations, but against the traffickers and farmers involved in Africa. So yeah, I'm paying the slave owners. Don't look at me, bro. It's not my fault they use slaves. It's not like I'm paying them explicitly and exclusively because they use slaves. No. Right? No. Right? Not happening. No. It's not like, oh, the only way that we're able to make a profit here is by utilizing child slavery, and therefore we are, promoting and propping up child slavery. That's not the case. Right? No. It's, it's their fault that they're, taking our money and then doing things with them. That's their fault. But anyway, Nestle never engaged in the egregious child labor alleged in the suit. The company said in a statement, "We remain unwavering in our dedication to combating child labor in the cocoa industry." Then how about you, stop paying child slavery traffickers? You can never take any of this shit seriously. You can never take any of it seriously. Attorneys for the Malians, meanwhile, argued that the mistreatment of the Malians stems from decisions by company officials in the United States, and therefore U.S. courts should handle the matter. While Nestle and other chocolate companies do not generally own the farms from which they obtain cocoa, the firms often provide training and other support to them. Again, they are paying them It's not like, oh, I'm paying you and you just happen to be secretly, having child slaves. It's not like it's a secret. They're being paid explicitly because they have child slaves, because that way they can make a profit off of it. We believe that they controlled the system of child forced labor in the Ivory Coast from the United States, said Paul Hoffman, an attorney for the Malians. In its decision on Thursday, the Supreme Court sided with the companies on that critical issue. Nearly all the conduct that they say aided and abetted forced labor, providing training, fertilizer, tools, and cash to oversee farmers, occurred in Ivory Coast, Thomas wrote in the majority opinion. Again, what the fuck? The proliferation of global supply chains in recent decades has led to recurring debates over the responsibility of multinational companies to monitor the adherence of their far-flung suppliers to standards on human rights and the environment. Business groups, including the U.S. I don't know if I have to read the rest of this. Go fuck yourself. But anyway, that's the absolute state of the United States of America, and capitalism and major corporations do not purchase anything from Nestle. Right? They've got a lot of products. Look them up. They own basically everything. Fuck them in the face. We don't need them. Fuck them. You know what I'm saying? We don't need them. It's ridiculous. When I had a job using vendors overseas, I'd literally travel there and personally vet the company before we partnered, as you should. And to say, to even suggest that these major corporations have no knowledge of this is just, how dumb do you think I am? You know what I mean? I'm not to say that anyone in the chat's suggesting that, but, that's kind of that's their legal argument here. Yeah, I mean, I it's a huge problem. It's a huge problem. Just like everything in the entire world is just a giant fucking problem. And I don't even know if any of this shit can be solved, to be honest with you. I wanted to talk about this too. All right, let's read. The Department of Justice asks the Supreme Court to reinstate death sentence for Boston Marathon bomber Dzhokhar Tsarnaev. I'm sorry. My apologies. Please don't hurt me. The Justice Department, in other words, Biden's DOJ is saying, yo, let's kill some people. Like, this is my problem. This is my problem here. Like, Donald Trump and his Department of Justice and his presidency started using the death penalty, especially in the last 4 months before he left office, killing people week after week after week after week for very dubious claims. Like, some of these cases were situations where I believe one of them was someone was in a car and didn't do anything. But he was there at the scene of the crime, but someone was in the car and someone else murdered someone and then he got the death sentence for it, right? Like, that's a huge problem. And now Biden's administration is like, oh, we're killing people again? Fuck yeah, I'm down. And so that's the Justice Department asked the Supreme Court on Tuesday to reinstate the death penalty for the Boston Marathon bomber. However, a federal appeals court overturned the death sentencing last summer, ruling the trial judge failed to adequately question prospective jurors about if they had been biased by hearing about the case before the trial started. The federal appeals court improperly vacated the capital sentence's recommended by the jury in one of the most important terrorism prosecutions in our nation's history. The Justice Department argued Tuesday, claiming that a prospective juror's prior exposure to a case doesn't mean they can't be impartial. So this is one of my problems, right? Okay, am I trying to defend the Boston Marathon bomber? No, but look at the situation when it comes to, remember that thing that happened, what was it, in Tennessee during Christmas, where some dude just blew up an entire block, right? And do you know all these mass shootings going on? We've had 13,000 mass shootings this year. What the hell? You're trying to reinstitute the death penalty for this guy, right? Instead of all these white supremacist terrorists that have been going around in fucking Georgia and fucking all these other states just killing people, right? What happened to the fucking guy who shot up the church and then got taken to Burger King? Is he gonna get the death penalty, right? This is my problem with this, right? If you're going to institute the motherfucking death penalty, that's some serious shit, bro. You're killing people. The government is killing people. That's not a joke, right? So it's really important that we analyze who they're killing and why they're killing them and who they're not killing, right? That's the huge thing, right? So if you want to kill this guy, right, because he killed, I don't know how many people were killed, but if you want to kill this guy, then we need to start killing all the other people. Or maybe we should just not kill anyone. Maybe that shouldn't be the role of the government, to kill people. That's not the role of the government. That's not why we have a government. So I'm just throwing that out there. The fair determination of guilt and punishment for a ubiquitously publicized crime is neither impossible nor the peculiar province of the ignorant, the acting Solicitor General said in a new filing. Instead, thoughtful and informed citizens, the ideal jurors, may serve on a jury as long as they can lay aside their impressions or opinions and render a verdict based on the evidence presented in court. Now, to be honest with you, I agree with that. That has nothing to do with whether or not this guy deserves to die, right? The idea that, if you know anything about the case before going in, that you're not allowed to be a juror, that's ridiculous. In my opinion, that's ridiculous, right? I think that you should have people that are actively engaged in a case. That's my opinion, right? If you're trying to make the jury, super impartial, I get you, but again, at the same time, this is not an excuse for the death penalty in any capacity whatsoever. There were 3 mass shootings yesterday. Jesus fucking Christ. Yeah, this shit's just ridiculous. 3 people died? Okay. So what about Dylan Roof? Right? What about all these other motherfuckers? Right? Seriously. What about them? The Federal Appeals Court last year ruled there should be a new sentencing phase. Judge O. Rogery Thompson wrote in the ruling, they will spend his remaining days locked up in prison with the only matter remaining being whether he will die by execution. I mean, it's just ridiculous. Like, also, like, die by execution. Who says that kind of shit? Right? I don't know. Like, this is ridiculous. Again, what is Biden's fucking, what is he doing here? What is this guy doing? He's trying to reinstitute death penalty for what he deems are, like, terroristic acts of violence. What about all these mass shootings? Seriously, what about them? Honestly, though, what about them? What about the fucking January 6th riot? How about that? Are you going to sentence people to death? Are you going to sentence Donald Trump to death? Are you going to sentence Rudy Giuliani to death for saying trial by combat? No, you're not, because you're a little pussy bitch. And so the idea that you're going to target this guy instead of, I don't know, all the other way worse acts of terrorism is just beyond me. I think it's ridiculous. I think it's disgusting. And to be honest with you, I mean, I don't want to put that much more effort into talking about it, but goddamn, that's some bull ass shit. Let me just tell you. His punishment should be forced feminization and made open. Oh my god. Yeah, imagine, like what was the situation with the George Floyd trial? Like, yeah, I'd never heard of George Floyd. Right? Like, who? Who is that person? You know? George who? Like, what? Like, how do you go fucking, what, like, 10 months without hearing about George Floyd being killed? Like, I'm sorry, like, that's, you know. So I'm pretty sure that, you know, that didn't happen. Anyway, let's go into the recap, folks. What if I was in a coma? Good question. Personally, I think if someone's in a coma, they've got a lot more problems. Oh, Lord have mercy. They asked jurors whether they protested. I mean, can't you just lie? Like, you know, like what? Can't you just fucking say, no, bro, I didn't protest? Hell no. Alright, let's get into the recap. That's my problem with jury selection, is that there is no way to make it impartial. And all the criteria that they use to try to make it impartial don't really do anything. Like, for example, if you're doing a case, right, and they ask you, like, how do you feel about law enforcement? If I say I don't like law enforcement, they're going to view me as biased. Whereas if I say I do like law enforcement, they're not going to view me as biased. What? Right? Like that's the thing. It's like either you don't like law enforcement or you absolutely love them. And even then, I mean, they probably wouldn't view that as biased. Right? So they always try to tilt these things in the favor of the institutions and the systems that have power. And that's the problem, because of the system, right? The same system that, pays death squads to go around and start shooting and killing people for no reason. That same system, right, is the one that says, oh, if you don't like cops, sorry, you're too biased to be on the jury. And that's what leads to this, this fucking bullshit where juries can't, convict cops. Like, they just never get any convictions. Pro wrestler and wannabe politician Cody Rhodes naming his daughter Liberty. Yikes, that's gonna be a while. That's gonna be a rough that's gonna be a rough life for that person. Whew. All right, folks. So yesterday was the 58th day of protests in the city of Elizabeth City over the police murder of Andrew Brown Jr. And, we started in a different location today because there is going to be a Black Lives Matter, mural thing painted on the street that we normally start the protests on. And they're beginning the construction process of that, so that's cool, I guess. So we started on the other street, one street parallel. And look at this dog. This dog is important. This dog is very important. And so we met here. We were a little worried that no one was going to show up because we're in a different spot, but then everyone showed up and then we had a good time. So we marched through neighborhoods once again. One of the things that we've been doing is we've been going through neighborhoods and then kind of wrapping around through major roads. That's been something that we've been doing. Recently, I think it's decent, I don't necessarily think that, the idea of, screaming release the tape in a bunch of, people's houses that, have nothing to do with it. I mean, it's a little silly, but, at the same time, it gets people involved. So I think that's a net positive. So we start at Main Street, go all the way down from Road Street, all the way down to some neighborhoods. And so we had a bunch of people show up on their porches, wave at us, all that kind of stuff. Super cool, super cool. And so we, we crossed into a specific neighborhood that I may or may not be familiar with. And so we had a little break here. This was there's a location right here where someone was shot and killed maybe a week ago. So we did a little break here and had a moment of silence for that. And then we continued going through some neighborhoods. So we went through and we saw one of the houses where Andrew Brown grew up in, according to someone that they knew. And so that's pretty interesting. And when we wrapped back around to where we started, remember that dog I was talking about earlier? This is really, really funny. So this lady has a meltdown. I'm just going to turn the audio on for this one. This is really good. What's the problem? What's the problem?
I'm curious, they call the police.
Say his name.
Call him.
You me dollar
Who's
for
what? Call him for what?
Okay, so this is really very, very good content here. Right? It's very, very, very good content here. So this lady right here. Now, I want to, for those of you that don't know, at the start here, this van was here and I took a picture of the dog, right? So I don't know if they were upset at the idea that I was taking a picture of the dog, right? And then they came to yell about it later. I'm not sure, right? So they came out here and, basically said, don't leave my dog alone. So these are contractors that were fixing something in the courthouse. They were here before, we started the march and they were still here working afterwards. So this is something that these people are hired by the city of Elizabeth City to do repairs or work in the courthouse. So that's one of my problems here. If you are hiring someone who calls Black Lives Matter protesters the real racists, I've got news for you. That's a problem for me, right? So let's just, so this lady in the purple says, y'all the real racists. What the fuck? And so my response, what the fuck? Excuse me. So what I do is I immediately go take more photos of the dog. So as you can see, here's the dog. So she like rolled up the fucking window, and the dog like for the next like 5 minutes was like panting.
What
and it
the
was,
hell was that shit, man? That was Omega Karen energy.
So it gets even better. So I got her little license plate for the work car, and so I see that she is staring at us through the window, the Karen. And so this is really good stuff here. So I give her a wave, right, and she gives me the bitch wave. And so I respond with the bitch wave. And so we're having a bitch wave off, right? This is a serious, like, this is a battle of ideas. We're having a bitch wave off. And so I have a noisemaker, you know, like little clappy hands that you got at a party, that someone got at a party store. And they gave them to me so that, you know, if, you know, I can do this and make a lot of noise without screaming. And so I had them, so I pulled them out, and then I started waving the fucking noisemaker at her, and then she started laughing. So watch this. That's what that noise is. So she's waving at me with her hand, and I grab the fucking, like, fake hand clapping machine, like, little plastic toy, and I start waving it at her, and she, like, cracks up and walks away, and I thought that was pretty funny. I made her laugh. Huge win, folks. But anyway, this is like the people that the city of Elizabeth City is hiring for their repairs. They can't hire people that, you know, maybe aren't just racist. Like you don't have to necessarily hire super duper activists. But why are you hiring like explicit racists? They get pissed off and they see black people like just existing. Like it's ridiculous, man. It's fucking ludicrous. But yesterday's march was pretty good. Again, I personally, my preference is to go through the major roads as long as possible. But I understand why some people, like, again, if we're doing this for fucking 58 days in a row, it's okay, I guess, to switch it up every now and then. And so, you know, it's a huge thing that we're planning. Oh, one other thing I wanted to talk about. Is that apparently Governor Roy Cooper is going to be coming in the next 2 weeks, and I'm going to be within a 50-foot radius of the governor, and so that's going to be cool. You bet your sweet bippy I'll be asking some interesting questions. And so apparently, yeah, so Roy Cooper, you know how they did, they went to Raleigh a while ago, so Roy Cooper has responded. We don't have an official date yet, but he has said that he is planning to come over within the next 2 weeks, so that's the idea. And so we'll see how that goes. We'll see if that does anything, and I'm looking forward to that one, so that's pretty interesting. Yeah, I mean, again, that's pretty much it. So how are we doing today? Give me a vibe check. What the hell is a bippy? Don't worry about it. Vibingcat.gif. That's my favorite .gif. Ask him what the best dog is. That's a great question. But yeah, I want to remind everyone, this weekend I'm going to do my show Saturday and Sunday. I'm going to do 9 a.m. because on the weekends we start protesting earlier in the morning, and especially tomorrow we're going to like start at like 10:45. So I'm just like, so for tomorrow and Sunday I will be doing 9 to 10 instead of 10 to 11. The shows also may be shorter than they've been for the last couple days, so I'm just throwing that out there. Yeah, I mean, if anyone has any questions, comments, or concerns, feel free to field them to me in my direction. And I'll see y'all again very, 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 very soon. Did you see the old Karen who called someone the N-word and then drove to the police station? Nope. You cannot ignore my girth. Alright, on that note, I'll see ya.
created Pokemon Go. But I'm trying to figure out how we get them to have Pokemon go to the polls. No, seriously, hot sauce. I've been eating a lot of hot sauce, a lot of raw peppers and hot sauce.
Everybody comes in your grandmother. 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 Yeah. Well, you have to understand, the first time I ever heard of Black Lives Matter, they were chanting pigs in a blanket, talking about police. Pigs, talking about our police. Pigs in a blanket, fry them like bacon.
It's not that they don't want to help. They don't know quite what to do. Play the radio. Make sure the television, make sure you have the record player on at night. The phone. Make sure the kids hear words.
Ladies and gentlemen, leaders and fighters for freedom and liberty and the American dream, the best is yet to come.
Everybody comes in your grandmother. Everybody comes in your grandmother. Everybody comes in your grandmother. Everybody comes in your grandmother.
That was an opinion of somebody.
But I tell you, if you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, then you ain't black.
Why the hell are you people still here? Get the fuck out. Get the fuck out. Hello? It's over. TikTok, go do something else with your goddamn life. Thank you. Jesus.
Everybody comes in your grandmother.